Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, today, before we get started, I want to mention that there will be another podcast with a special guest, Eddie Vega, where we talk about meeting the Doors members. There'll be other stuff coming forward. I'm trying to put stuff together. So as far as that, we move forward. But anyway, folks, back to what we're here for. Today, I want to talk about drunk driving. Right? We tend to focus on this topic at the end of the year. You know, when New Year's comes in, don't drink and drive. We push that, right? And I get it. You know, I get it because that's the time of the year most people are either on vacation, they're home, or whatnot, or stuff like that, right? But this stuff happens every day, right? Every day for some people, it happens. You know, I'm not gonna get specific about it happened on these days. It is what it is. It happens every day. So my thing is that there should be I don't know why sometimes people do this, knowing that there's so much access to either Ubers, close friends to say, hey, you know what, bro, if you know, call me if you need a ride, you know. But then once that liquid, what do you call it? The liquid boldness or whatever kicks in, you feel you're okay. You know, I've seen people say, oh, you know, watch out, there's going to be a checkpoint. You know, they're going to check for you know, checkpoint, you know, with the police. To me, that kind of stuff is like, you know, if I can avoid it, I will, because it's due to a waste of time, like, for me anyways, right? But if I get caught up in it, I got nothing to worry about. Like, I look at it as like as a drug test. You know, people say, oh, hey, they drug test there. And? Well, they drug test, bro. And? The answer is simple. Go for it. You want to test me today? You want to test me tomorrow? You want to test me you want to test me twice a day? Go for it. My conscience is clean. I don't have to worry about that. There's things it's a solution. It's a solution to it. Just don't do it. But, I mean, you know, I understand, too, for some people it's a lot harder than it is for others, right? So, sometimes say, oh, you know, people got a DUI. I happened to be in court one time. I think I was there for jury duty or something, and I happened to see this guy be in there for court because he got a DUI. And the judge threw the book at him, right? And he was like, oh, you know what? You know, you're going to get this. You're going to get a breathalyzer. You have to pay this fine. You have to attend these classes. You have to just a bunch of stuff. And I remember it turned out to be about, if I'm not mistaken, at the time, it was like $4,600 in fines alone, plus, you know. And I remember the guy saying, man, like, is that enough? Like, you know, he still rebelled against the judge. So the judge, I remember the judge was like, "What did you say?" And he was all, I think that's enough. He goes, "Oh, you think that's enough?" And the judge broke it down, man. He was like, "You know what, man? I guess he had driven into a house, and hit the, driven into a house, and good thing nothing happened to the people in the house, but he had hit the pretty much went in a little bit." And he said, the judge told him, "You know what? I had to get 4 of my officers off the street to go take your irresponsibility because you were driving drunk. Now, you're lucky that nobody was sitting on the couch when you went through that house, because then he goes in the state of California, yada, yada, yada. He starts getting into it. He starts saying it's considered a weapon, so on and so forth. He just, made it really, broke it down to the nitty gritty of everything. And he went on to tell him, he goes, "You know what, sometimes I'm leaving this courthouse and people will come up to me and thank me because maybe their relatives were killed by a drunk driver." Right? I've had a very, very, very close friend killed by a drunk driver. Okay, this was in 2020, and it's a mixed bag of emotion because typically the guy that was drunk ends up being alive, right? And the other person that was driving, either I'm not going to get into the story, but say the other person that's going wherever they're going about their day ends up losing their life because somebody decided they want to drink and drive. I really frown on that kind of stuff. I don't like it. I got my family out there on the road sometimes, and I'm not just saying because here. I'm saying everywhere, right? Their lives are in danger. Everybody's life is in danger. I got my son that, he's on the road a lot, and I worry about that because anything can happen, due to somebody's irresponsibility. And oftentimes liquid courage is what the word I was getting at, right? And oftentimes they feel like, oh, you know what, like, man, I'm good enough to drive. It's cool because I'm used to it. I got a high tolerance, yada yada. It's not about that. You shouldn't be behind the wheel. Period. Point blank. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Anything can happen. Again, I lost a very close friend of mine due to drunk driving. He was not drinking. He wasn't, he was just going. He was going home. He was going home. He was going to pick up his children, and he didn't make it because somebody else was irresponsible about that, and unfortunately lost his life. But I'm not gonna get into names, guys, because of the respect for the family. But really, this is like really cut and dry. There's not really much to say about this other than don't drink and drive. DUIs are not cheap, but it's not about them being cheap. They're making an example, and to me, it's like, my friend's not going to come back. I don't care what they slap you with. I don't care what amount of time they give you in jail. My friend or that person you hit, and that person didn't make it, that person's not going to come back. So therefore, like, it's one thing I really frown on, guys. I really, as personally me myself, Fred Segura, I frown on that. I don't like it. Do I drink? I'll be honest, I social drink. I don't drink all the time. You know, as a commercial says, but when I do, right, I make sure I'm going nowhere. And I only do it at my home. And with people that I believe I could trust, which is not a lot. So majority of my time, if I do it, it's at home. And that's it. And I make sure I'm going nowhere. Although I'm not the kind of dude that likes to drink to blackout or do anything like that. I like to. I don't like to be out of control of myself. But either way, guys. I know we're all different, you know, so on and so forth. But I don't want to keep rambling onto this. Just drink responsibly, because you're gonna find yourself behind bars, and the least of the worries is that you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. But the most important thing and the most messed up part about that is that you will not be able, or anybody will be able to bring that person back. So call an Uber, call a friend, call a Lyft, call whichever. But don't drink and drive. That's what I gotta say, guys. This is not a campaign for drinking and driving. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just something I felt I had to say. Right? It might have got boring to some of you guys, but this is, I can't stress it enough. And I wish I could really tell the story of that. Maybe I will at some point, but right now I don't want to get into that. With that, guys, this is Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, signing out.